There once lived a man named Richard Cole, a billionaire whose name echoed across every corner of the city. He owned towers of glass, cars that shined like mirrors, and islands carved with his name in gold. To the world, Richard was success itself, but behind that fortune, lived a man whose heart was colder than his money vaults. He cared for no one, not even those closest to him. He believed kindness was weakness, and generosity was foolishness. Every morning, he would stand by his penthouse window, look down at the people rushing to work, and whisper to himself, "Ants." His employees feared him. He fired people for being 5 minutes late. He cut salaries for small mistakes. When his secretary once asked for a day off to care for her sick mother, he simply said, "If your mother can't afford a nurse, that's not my problem." He had no wife, she'd left years ago, and no relationship with his only son, Ethan. When Ethan graduated college, Richard didn't even show up. He said, "Family only slows you down." Soft thunder sound effect, rain ambience begins. Then one stormy night, Richard sat alone in his glass palace. When his phone rang, it was the hospital. His son, Ethan, had been in a terrible accident. The doctor's voice trembled. "Sir, you should come now." Richard froze. For the first time, the sound of his own heart drowned out the city's noise. He rushed to the hospital, but he was too late. Ethan was gone. The doctor handed him a folded note. Ethan's last words: "Music softens. Emotional piano swells. Dad, I wish you had been there, not for my accident, but for my life." Richard dropped to his knees, tears mixed with the rain. For the first time, all his money meant nothing. Pause, 2 seconds of silence. He stayed in his mansion for days. No meetings, no business calls, only silence and guilt. Then one morning, he walked outside, wearing ordinary clothes, hiding behind sunglasses. He saw things he had never noticed before: a mother selling fruits under the hot sun, a beggar sharing crumbs with a stray dog, a child smiling with torn shoes. And for the first time, he didn't feel powerful, he felt empty. Music changes, hopeful. Warm piano with light guitar. One cold evening, he saw an old woman sitting in front of a bakery, shivering, her cup empty. "Sir," she whispered, "I haven't eaten in 2 days." He wanted to walk away, but something inside him stopped him. He bought her food. She smiled and said, "God bless you." And in that simple smile, Richard felt warmth, a feeling he hadn't known in decades. From that day forward, he changed. He funded schools for poor children, built hospitals for the sick, and paid for scholarships in Ethan's memory. He didn't put his name on any of it. He didn't want praise. He wanted peace. Music brightens, children laughing sound in background. One day, while visiting an orphanage he had built, a little girl ran up to him. "Are you the man who gave us this home?" she asked. He smiled softly. "Maybe," he said. She handed him a drawing, a picture of a man surrounded by happy children. "This is you," she said. "You're a good man." For the first time in his life, Richard cried, not from loss, but from love. Music fades to calm piano and strings. Years later, when he passed away, he left behind no heirs, no empire, no fortune, but he left behind something greater, a legacy of kindness. On the wall of the orphanage, they placed a plaque that read, "He came into this world rich in wealth, but left it rich in love." And somewhere beyond the stars, a young man named Ethan smiled, proud of the father who finally learned what it truly means to be human. Music swells and fades out completely. Lesson of the story: no amount of money can replace love, kindness, or the people you lose along the way. True wealth isn't measured by what you own, it's measured by what you give, the lives you touch, and the hearts you heal, because at the end of life, you can't take your riches with you, but you can leave behind a legacy of love. Red Heart.